a drone, you've been known to atone for sin. Leave me alone in my zone. I have grown to bemoan the thrills. You should have known I won't be home. Care to build my soul for gold. Let's pick a bone off the throne so we know who's queen and king. I knew you were trouble. I knew you were shuffle. The cards I held with bluffs and towns, with tricks and spells. Oh, what the hell? I thought I knew you. Don't break my bones, Al Capone. Time has flown, you're behind the grill. Your eyes have shown sticks and stones that you hide inside your skin. I knew you were trouble. I knew you would shuffle. The cards I held with bluffs and towns, with drinks and spells. Oh, what the hell? I thought I knew
And we are back on Made in India with the two of you who are clearly not new to the show
Yeah.
at all.
Homecoming.
I know, right? And new avatar,
Every
Saint
time. Yeah.
Cyril. Shashwat, I think you first were here when the erstwhile Calico.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Of course
And then
I do.
obviously the two of you with You Know Who. And now Saint Cyril, which is the name of the street you grew up on.
That's true.
Yeah.
So thinking about this, I'm kind of like, these two brothers live in the same house, hang out in the same room, and now you decide, let's make one more band. Why?
Can't get enough of each other.
I would have thought it'd be opposite. I mean, aren't you guys like sick of each other now? No?
No. I feel like we both work with other musicians as well. And there's a certain level of comfort because there's almost like a telepathic communication that happens between us. Where if Sarthak gives me an idea, or I go to him with an idea, and
What number am I thinking?
6.
You're right.
Yeah. Anyway.
You could have easily completely lied. It could have literally just been like 3, but I'll say 6 just for like the...
So I think for us, we have the same starting point for our train of thought. We have the
Yeah.
same places that our ideas come from because we've grown up listening to the same kind of music. So I feel like there's a very easy way to get to where we want to get to. Just because we're working with each other, we kind of speed the process up a lot.
And I think also we just really enjoy it. You know?
Yeah.
We just
Just want
enjoy.
to make another band?
Maybe we just make one more, name it something else, and do it in Hindi or like another regional language.
Cannot tell you. I genuinely think there's going to be a festival lineup. It'll be next band, you know who. Next band, Saint Cyril. It's going to be like literally
We're not leaving the stage.
Yeah,
all.
ever. And also, I mean, I also think that we obviously were with Johan and we were writing as you know who is, and you know that. But when the pandemic struck, we obviously weren't able to meet. So we had a lot of demos and this huge backlog. And we were literally trying to figure out a way in which we could write together over Zoom or something. We'd still exchange demos and figure out a way to keep it going. But that was proving to be far more challenging than we'd anticipated. So we were still writing. So he was still practicing his drums and coming up with grooves and ideas. I was doing the same with the guitar. And I said, well, we're here. Let's just still make the most of it, right? Like with You Know Who, when we were writing, we were getting into a sort of, obviously we were maturing as writers, but we were getting into a more polished sort of modern day produced sound. And I somehow at that particular point in time wanted to go back to these grungy guitar riffs that I grew up with, right?
Yeah.
On St. Cyril Road, like both of us listening to Green Day and Linkin Park and like Arctic Monkeys and whatnot, right? So I said, why not explore this side? And who better to do it than you and I, right? Because that's what we love. Like we come from this sort of rock background. And I said, this is the best time to do it. We have the time, we have the ideas. Let's just plug in the guitar into an amp and you get on the drums and we'll just see what we can come up with. And it started out with that, especially at a point in time when we were seeing, venues shut down and there are lesser venues now, lesser bands. I said, maybe this is a good time for us to try and still keep that alive and just because we have fun doing it. And that's still the case, right? So it's more fun than some methodical sort of plan that we have,
The fact that it's called Saint Cyril. I mean, were there any like other names for the band? We're like, we live on Saint Cyril, call it Saint Cyril. Like what?
It's interesting. I don't know if we had some...
No, so I remember how it happened. I remember in the pandemic, there was an evening where Sarthak came to me. He's like, do you want to try writing music that we grew up listening to? Let's just have like a pop rock project. Something really simple, like we're not talking about intricate, crazy ideas and stuff like that. Just home basics. Right, and for the longest time in our heads, it was just the pop rock project. And I remember Sarthak told me like, what if we call it Saint Cyril? And it just clicked. We didn't really need another name. We didn't need options. It just felt so right, and it just worked. So I don't think we ever considered.
Really? Like,
Never looked into it.
We had a friend come down once and from Bangalore, and we were walking around and she saw the name of our street and she said, oh, the street is named after you guys. And I said,
what? Come on.
it was so innocent.
Yes.
Like,
Unfortunately, I had to correct her.
She'd heard of Saint Cyril the band.
Yeah,
but,
that
like,
was the first.
I love it.
Yeah, that was the
and
first.
obviously I was like, no.
No.
But what's really amazing is we've seen so much love and support from our childhood friends who've grown up with us, who also live on St. Cyril Road, and they feel like this is their thing as well, and they love getting behind it.
Like, I don't know if you know about these things called block parties, where like a party on the block. You guys should do that, like some sort of Bandra fest, and then do St. Cyril on St. Cyril Road. I mean, that inception is
That is the idea. Currently, all the streets are being dug up, but
Yeah, once
Oh my
that's
god,
done.
it's so traumatizing. I mean, you guys, then perfect time to do a raging gig. Because like there's no traffic. 'Cause no one is going.
from the khadda.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Live from the
forklifts
khadda.
on the side. It's meant to be, I'm telling you. So one of the things that I wanted to actually ask the two of you is that when you were writing for You Know Who and when you're writing for St. Cyril, how do you know where you're slotting the song under which heading of which band?
That's actually a really exciting and interesting question. For me, I think it has to do with really the energy in the room. Like you add one other person to the mix and it completely changes the dynamic and the way you start thinking, where we feed off of each other's way of thinking. So we sort of alter what I'm going to play when I know Johan's going to do something. And that's come with chemistry, right? So I think that's something that's really important with bands, especially because there aren't so many now, and we were just having this discussion elsewhere that people are becoming more isolationist in the way that they write. So then you lose the chemistry of actually performing with someone and writing with someone. And a huge part of that is knowing how they think, right?
Exactly.
So I feel like that happens when you're in the room together and you're discussing ideas, or you're playing riffs, and you know the way they're approaching writing. So you sort of calibrate accordingly.
Yeah.
And that's a big change. So I know how Shashwat writes, and he knows where I'm coming from. Even on stage, like if I'm going to improvise, he knows I'm going to do something there, right? So that level of understanding and chemistry, that takes time. And that's how, at least with You Know Who and Saint Cyril, it's the same bunch of people.
Yeah.
But just having one person out of the mix or in the mix completely changes a huge element.
I remember hearing this in an interview that the actor Glenn Howerton, he was talking about working with his two best friends on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And he said that a lot of the funniest things that they've done were all improvised because they love getting a genuine reaction out of each other when they're working.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, I'll do stuff because I know that this makes that guy laugh a lot. Or he does something because he knows I love this kind of humor. So I feel like that's also kind of the dynamic where you know that when you're pitching an idea you have to the other person in the room, you know that, I think this guy liked this,
But that still doesn't describe to me, how do you tell the difference when you're putting a You Know Who song together in a
There
Saint
is
Cyril song?
a small difference in
Basically,
the
you
sound.
guys don't know. We're like, we don't know.
No,
Have you
I
ever
feel like
thought of
it's-
like, this
feel
sounds
like
more
it's-
You Know Who than Saint Cyril?
It's I think the problem is it's difficult to define, but there is a distinction.
Are you just saying it's the same band, Shashwat?
Just the
I've
package.
cornered you now. Sarthak's like, I am backing away real slow now.
Fully cornered. I suppose the big difference is that the bass lines for Saint Cyril aren't as great as what Johan would write.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why?
That's probably the big difference.
Aw.
Yeah. We do guitar and drums and vocals, and then we're like,
Then I track the bass, imagining what Johan would.
I think Johan would like this. Sometimes with Johan's bass guitar, actually.
Yeah, I borrow his bass. I don't have a bass guitar, so everything that I've written for Saint Cyril from day one has been with Johan's bass.
Whenever
So
Johan's bass
he's
guitar is
this phantasmic presence.
Yeah.
That
over
even
the
his
band.
bass will be lying there next to you, and you'd be like, I'm touching it, but technically I'm channeling my inner Johan to
Exactly.
play the bass.
That's true.
I
I'm
will
so
say
inspired.
one thing though, and this is maybe someone who is just on the other side listening to it. I do feel like maybe it's just what inspired maybe You Know Who and what Saint Cyril is. And I look at the band based on kind of not just how I feel about the music, but I guess what you guys have sort of told me. And I feel like Saint Cyril is such a, like you said, it's a bit of a love letter to the music that you really adored when you were young. And so it comes from there. It comes from something that feels inspired from something outside in. And I feel like with You Know Who, and maybe this is me, but I feel like that seems not more personal, but it seems that comes from the inside out maybe. And then I don't know if that makes any sense. But I feel like with that, there's so much more different kind of meaning to the songs that you do with You Know Who versus. I'm not saying that the lyrics and what inspires what you talk about, but I feel like just musically, I don't know, with You Know Who, I feel like like it comes from inside out, and then maybe Saint Cyril is the other way around.
I mean,
don't know.
because you know us and you've heard both.
Next interview, like that's what we'll just tell everyone.
I feel like we should switch spots, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask the questions because you seem to have the answers.
I know.
We'll save
like,
this
why
for
are you guys
when-
even here? I just want to say, interview myself about your band. But let's go into the second song that you guys are gonna be performing today. Can you tell me a little bit about what Twice Over is about?
Yeah, Twice Over is really just about that giddy feeling of like early love, like the start of a relationship. And just seeing something blossom, right? And that just what that feeling is like, what all of that evokes. That's what Twice Over is really all about,
Awesome.
In a
And it's
sentence.
trouble when you get in trouble?
I suppose. But trouble is more about like meeting troublesome people,
people,
right? Like people who can just rake up trouble in your life.
Oh, they're the worst. Oh my God. I should just like, the moment that happens, play your song, right? Be like,
I actually
one
did that
second.
for a very long time.
Really?
I love listening back to my own songs, especially like the demo versions of it when it was just sort of just produced, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I do that a lot still with a lot of these older tracks as well. So it's a lot of fun.
I mean, he's not even that old, man. He's like barely like a couple of years old.
Yeah. Still, I mean, old in terms of how much we're still writing and want to write.
Fair enough. So next song is Twice Over.
My darling, hold me close and dim the lights. You being you will set me right. Kiss your heart into me while I'm alive. Know for yourself how I survive. I mean no harm, don't be alarmed when I slowly discover I can feast on your replies. Oh baby, wrap me up and hold me tight. Thread your love and stitch me right. I'll do what you ask of me twice over. You can take it slow and I'll be slower. Don't go, baby, I'm just scared to live my day in tonight. You're home, baby, can I stay too? Can I stay just for the night? Don't wake me, I'll be fine. My darling, wish me luck and bless my life. Destined to stare into your eyes. I'll twist my fate if only you connive. Then watch our stars as they align. I'll do what you ask of me twice over. You can take it slow and I'll be slower. Don't go, baby, I'm just scared to live my day in tonight. You're home, baby, can I stay too? Can I stay just for the night? Don't wake me, I'll be fine.
So, just heard Twice Over. Now, as you may or may not know, I'm a huge fan of a great band bio. For anyone that doesn't know, I will actually read it out. Here's a scenario. Guy Ritchie and Quentin Tarantino are in a room. Pulp Fiction is in on drums and backing vocals. Lock, Stock's got everything else covered, obviously. Now you're thinking saucy storytelling, smashing hooks, guts, gore, and gentlemen, minus the gore, and you're thinking Saint Cyril. Please explain the bio, people.
Explain it, Shashwat.
I feel like it explains.
What am I
itself,
thinking?
really.
Oh,
It's either you get it or you don't.
We got to say what all artists say. It's open to interpretation.
oh my God. I love all the get out of jail free cards you're using.
Yeah, yeah.
It speaks
Did
for
you miss any
itself.
get out of jail free cards?
Put them all down now.
just
And then
one
you,
after the other.
the new bio also has to say unique blend of, every band says unique blend of experimental jazz and rock, blues.
The one that I've seen more often than not is we are genreless.
Correct.
That's another one. I'm like, no, you're not, man. Like, you're not genreless. Genre bending, genreless. I'm like, okay. There you are one. There is
That's
like,
true.
even if you're doing something that is massively different or massively blended or whatever you want to call it, I still think that there is elements of different kinds of music that is going to be. The genre is there. You are not genreless. You're not genre, like maybe bendy, genre bendy, but yeah. But I did enjoy that. Do you have do you actually have a revised bio? That
We do have a
Yeah,
revised
now we
bio. I mean, like this, you could tell we were just having a good time. But for me,
Yeah.
like writing
This
this
is the pandemic writing.
yeah, it's the pandemic writing.
100%
This is
believe it.
like what could go wrong. It's fine.
Yeah. But it was, that's the thing. Like, we were writing these songs and we were actually feeling it's fun. Like, I haven't heard a guitar solo in a song in a long time. You
Yeah.
know, especially like Indian bands writing guitar solos in pretty much all their songs. And we were having such a good time writing that stuff. And as we were doing it, we also grew up watching these films and these directors. And it's just that sort of weird, amazing feeling of what this music evokes and what the films evoke for the music, right?
Yeah.
And that sort of symbiotic relationship. So I think that this bio is more about what the music evoked for us. And that's sort of
got
what we felt that
It's
it
like a
would
word
communicate.
association almost.
Kind of
you
thing
know?
that you were doing.
Yeah.
So I think it was more like descriptive in terms of like what you felt like all that influence summoned, I think, in your mind of
So, I feel like at that point also, we were still locking in on what the Saint Cyril sound would be. We've now gotten clearer.
you guys do have a new release out this year, which is Hurt People, which I'm really excited about because everyone's doing the singles and EP drops, and then to have like a full-blown album is so nice because you let it play and just enjoy like listening to an entire album. And I'm very much that person who loves like listening to a full album. And so also lots of electro vibes. I felt like you were channeling your inner Reznor at one point. I was feeling it. But I really liked I Need You, You Want Me.
Yeah.
It's such a good song. It really is. And You've Got So Much to Offer, which is the first one. But I also really liked, I'm 100% going to mispronounce this.
Backic ways.
That one. How did you know?
Telepathic communication all around now, yeah.
Are you my brother too? Like, Shashwat is everyone's sibling.
I
Like,
just
you
know,
read everyone's mind.
I am the quintessential younger brother. I just know it.
Wow.
Quintessential Tarantino.
Wait a minute. How did you know that I would like that
Because
one?
I was just thinking about which other song is difficult to pronounce. And
That I was struggling with like for 5 minutes just now and naming everything else.
Just one. There has to be just one. It has to be that. Yeah.
It was that.
By default, I'm like, yeah, it's Backic Ways for sure.
It is such a good song also. I gotta be honest. I really liked it.
Thank you.
And obviously like I really like Trouble as well, which is also on your debut. And My Therapist Says, which now has a music video as well, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to understand, when you're putting Hurt People, what is the album about?
So the first thing that I feel like when Shash was talking about the Saint Cyril sound, I think one of the big things that we've sort of zeroed in on is that we have a good laugh about the things that we want to talk about in the first place. So they could be very serious and heavy topics, but we want to address it in a sort of lighthearted way because that's what we do naturally, right? So the idea behind Hurt People, as the title suggests, is it's a phrase that we've heard a lot, right? You've heard it in shows, you've heard people say it. But I think the big deal there is that as we've all become more aware of our mental health, our physical health, the way these sort of aspects of our lives interact with one another and how it actually tangibly affects our relationships, right? Who we are within and the work we do within, how that tangibly affects our relationships, whether personal, interpersonal, professional, etc. That's become a very important aspect of our lives, all of our lives. And the idea behind Hurt People is that if you don't address the pain or anxiety or frustration or bitterness that you carry from anywhere else, you just perpetuate that. And I think
you like really hit deep, bro.
Oh.
That like really hit me. I was like, oh my God. No, but you're absolutely right. And I think that's such an interesting thing that you're addressing. I think that covers why there is so much frustration with people because then you're causing other people pain by not addressing your own.
And so it becomes this weird endless cycle of just hurting other people because you're choosing to be irresponsible about, you start feeling like you're a victim And if you approach every relationship that way and you feel like people are out to get you, whether it's at your job or in your family or anything else with your friends, then you're really choosing a life where you cannot feel fulfilled. You're not trying to be a better person. You're abdicating responsibility towards yourself. And that's essentially the idea behind the album. And I think that each of the songs addresses a sort of one aspect of this large discussion that I think all of us do need to have,
I also think, to add to that, if you actually, even when you're looking at it as like, why am I like hurting other people? It's because I haven't addressed whatever is going on with me. I feel like when you turn it the other way around as well, when someone else is like being mean or just saying something or doing something to you, turning around instead of like you, because a lot of people get very defensive then, right? You're like, hey, what have I done, man? For example, if you see someone else doing something to you, right? Or you feel like you get that brunt of something and you're like, wait, this seems really off. I feel like just being there, because I think that's also something that people don't do either. People are not checking in and instead of like getting defensive, just go, hey, you're right. Something seems to be not right here.
Exactly.
So I think that, I feel like doing it the other way around is also equally as important.
I couldn't agree more. And I feel like the only way you can do that is if you come from a place of feeling, secure within.
Yeah.
So if you're getting attacked, to say that, hey, are you feeling okay? You need to have done the work to be able to say that to somebody else.
Oh,
and that's a big deal.
That's also true, because then you'll always end up just being defensive about like, why do they have a problem with me, man?
Exactly. Right?
But I think, I think it's also having that realization that you've been through the shit and known how you've sort of backlashed in some way and then, or like hurt someone in some way, to know that like, oh, actually I did that because of this. Therefore, if someone else is doing it to me, they don't mean it personally.
So I also feel like, while over time we are all more connected, it's very superficial because there's still such a serious lack of accountability. And I don't mean that in like interpersonal relationships, but even from people in authority across various spheres. Like there's always this feeling of, how could they do that? How could they say that? What were you thinking? Right? And I feel like when you look a little deeper into it, you see that accountability comes from self-awareness. Right? Do you feel you need to be accountable? Comes from, what do I know about myself? Am I a person that takes responsibility? Am I a person that thinks their actions through? Right? Do I think 2 steps ahead? Am I someone who's just in the moment, doing what feels right in that moment, not thinking twice, So I feel like these 2 things are so intrinsically linked, that accountability and self-awareness. And I feel like if in this whole phase, there's just been a big drop in both of those. And I feel like that's what creates these issues that we face with so many people, where they don't feel the need to be accountable because they don't really know who they are. And they may be trying, but if you don't want to know who you are and you're okay knowing yourself at a superficial level, you'll never probe further. You'll never understand yourself better.
That's why the artwork has like these crash test dummies.
Yeah.
Because you're sort of you're willing to ram into anyone and anything and say, we'll figure it out after that. So we're all willing to be crash test dummies for our own lives, which is a very dangerous sort of place.
And it's also
to
the
be.
intention, right? Like crash test dummies are made to crash.
Yeah.
So it's like,
they're
are
meant
you
to
one
be
of
destroyed.
those? Yeah, they're meant to be destroyed. So are you entering things knowing, I'm probably going to get wrecked, like fully wrecked by this? Like, is this person a walking red flag? Am I going to become one of those? Right? Because when you get hurt by a person, if you don't deal with it yourself and you don't end that cycle, you're definitely going to take it forward. You're going to hurt somebody else.
Yeah.
And you may not even realize you're doing it.
I also think that we're also like, no one is perfect. I also think there are moments where you may have made a mistake or you said something and it wasn't an intentional that you were doing it. The other is that like maybe you said something and you didn't realize that it may have triggered the other person in some way, because you also don't understand. I mean, all of us come from some level of trauma from something or the other, or something's bothering us that day, or maybe like this, you just had a shitty day and you just don't want to feel like more shit. Because may have said this any other day and it would have been fine, but maybe just today was not the right day to do it, you know? I don't know. Like, I guess it all comes in sort of waves. I feel like as long as you're just being open as well to letting, and maybe someone needs to vent. Like, sometimes you have those moments where you're like, okay, say, go ahead, blow up. And then like being able to like allow someone to just blow up or cry or whatever it is. I'm like, do it. Cry if you want to cry. So that's I think that's a really interesting, I love the analogy of the crash test dummies also. I want to know from you guys, even just putting this whole thing together, because the music video for My Therapist Says was also really funny. And I don't know how you got Bansha and all that to be the therapist, which is so amazing. I wanted to understand from you that when you're putting the songs together, because every single one of them are actually really different. They're obviously still very sort of rock and a little, pop, post-punk heavy kind of thing.
Yeah.
What are, at least between the two of you, which were the songs that you really enjoyed, like writing or really enjoyed putting together, composing?
Oh man, that's very hard to answer.
Don't be the whole, they're all my children. No.
I really enjoyed writing Do I Know You? It's the one with the super heavy bass riff.
Yeah.
And I remember writing the demo for that last January. I think that he'd gone. So I hadn't gone for Lollapalooza, but Shash had gone to watch Royal Blood specifically.
Yeah, huge fan of Royal.
So good.
Huge
right?
fan. And he couldn't stop talking about it. He was so excited. And he came back and he was taking a nap in the afternoon on maybe the next day or something. And I said, why don't I just sort of surprise him? And I had the bass and I said, let me try writing a Royal Blood song. I'll try writing something really that would be exciting for him to, recreate as a Royal Blood song.
Yeah.
And then that's how the song was born. Pretty much the entire song was written and arranged with one bass guitar that afternoon. And after that, obviously, we produced it and there was a lot of work to be done. But I feel like that was, for me, it was really exciting to be able to try and crack that sound just with the bass guitar.
Yeah.
Because that's not, I don't consider myself to be a bass player, but there's also like a bass guitar solo in there, which is something I've never done. So, so all of that was really, really interesting.
Did you miss having Johan on this record? No.
No, we always miss you on.
I know, I do miss Johan. See, the thing is, for me...
What is he up to? Is he just busy?
He's super busy. He does a lot of session work and it's hard to get a hold of, honestly. But in a very good way. I'm
so happy
is he
for it.
rejecting you guys, though?
No, we
I think you should
pretty
ask
much
him.
meet him. I just met him 2 days ago and we just had another, like a private show.
Yeah.
So obviously we're still in touch. We're still pretty much gigging every other month and this, that and the other. And obviously hanging out. But we haven't written together in a while.
I think for me on this album, I really loved working on two of the songs. One was this song called Everyone Loves to Be Deserved.
Yeah.
I just really like the feel of that song. I think it's such a fun groove and it's so tight and I just really enjoy that song. I love listening to it. And I also loved writing the drum parts for I Thought Therefore I Was.
Yeah.
Because that song has a shuffle or something like it. Because, I admire so many drummers who have like their classic shuffle grooves, like the John Bonham one or, like the Rosanna shuffle. And I'm like, and it's such a silly thing. Where I'm
Next
like,
you're
I
gonna say
really
Neil
want to write a
Peart.
shuffle
Like, how many
groove.
drummers are Neil Peart, John Bonham? Who else?
Yeah, I'm
do
like,
you
all these cool guys have a
They are
shuffle
cool.
groove. I want to have a shuffle groove.
Yeah.
And then I saw the scope for it in that song and I'm like, yep, it's now or never.
Can I pick one more song?
Of course you can.
Yes, it's my album. I love writing the lyrics for My Therapist Says.
Yes.
I had the best
It's
time.
such a fun song.
I need a life to call my own. The internet is home and I'm living in my phone. I'm no catastrophe, I just got onto therapy. I are aligned. Made a reel to say I'm fulfilled by design. So please make no mistake, haters gonna hate. My therapist says I'm a victim of a lie. Follow the dictum and I'll be one till I die. I'm a victim of the lie. 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 I'm a victim. My therapist says I'm a victim of a lie. Follow the dictum and I'll be one till I die.
So I had a good time musically with Do I Know You, but like lyrically I had the best time with my therapist.
And of course, like
Pretty fun.
working with, so the director of My Therapist Says is a school friend of mine. His name is Tejasvi Kang. So he, the writer Arnav Malhotra, the DOP was Nikhil Pai. All of these guys, they're all very close to each other. And I've known Tejasvi a long time. And when we got together to make the music video, we had such a blast. Also because so Zarvan, again, very, very dear friend, extremely amazing guy. The other lead is Trisha Kanga, who is my partner. And again, she has a comedy background. Zarvan has a comedy background.
Yeah.
So it just felt like all of these people just came together and took our song to another level. And it was such a fun experience because there were so many times where Sarthak and I were just spectators, we were just like watching all these people do their thing.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun. And
It is. It was
Yeah.
it was a great video and it was really fun to watch and they're all great in it.
yeah, it was such a
like the whole
blast.
thing,
We
yeah.
had such a nice time. And I feel like that song is now so special because even now when I'm like, if I'm traveling and I listen to it, I can picture the scenes from the music video in my head. And I'm like, oh yeah, this part, I think this scene's happening. And it's just so much fun. And I have such fond memories of that song now because we got the opportunity to make something more of it.
You know what? The whole album, like I said, like so much of it, I can hear the influences of like what you guys love and the things that you wanted to sort of put in it. And I'm so glad that also understanding from you guys what were your favorite songs to even write and put together and all the things you wanted to include, like a John Bonham shuffle and everything. Right now, what is your sort of plan with the album? Do you still have more music that you want to put out? Like, are you working on some more stuff? Like, so where are you at with it?
There were a few songs that didn't make it to the album.
A couple of demos.
Yeah, they just didn't make the cut. Not good enough. So we need to revisit
I
those.
mean, if nothing else, you're just too different. You're very careful in picking the songs. Because you only have one debut album. We wanted to set the right impression and the right songs that fit the bill. And there were a couple of demos that we'd worked on that were very close to completion, but it just didn't feel right. It just felt like, oh, this is out of place.
But
We
I do-
wanted to be there, but it's out of place.
I do think we'll write one other album this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
and-
we took that one hit and now we're like, I want more.
Hooked.
I want
it was,
more.
it was, it was
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. It was very challenging in a sort of in a very technical way,
Yeah.
I'm sure. And Ayan, actually, we put him through hell just trying to put the whole album together.
Yeah, poor guy.
He was extremely patient. But you sort of get better as a writer when you're thinking about the story you want to tell.
Yeah.
Right. And I think firstly, that's the big deal, that we don't want to be putting out singles. We don't want to be the guys that are telling people that, hey, you have a short attention span, let's make it shorter. We don't want to be the guys doing that.
Yeah, fair enough.
So sure, I mean, you gotta have your social media presence and your reels and this, that, and the
Yeah.
other. But at the end of the day, I want to tell a full story and not one line from one chapter every day.
Exactly.
You know, so
And that's the funniest part, that in the build up to this, whenever people ask like, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you working on?" We're like, "We're working on an album," and they're like, "Why?"
Really? People are like questioning why you're making
Yeah,
an
I'm like,
album.
I was just like, why not? We've grown up on albums. Sarthak and
Yeah.
I used to buy like Green Day CDs, and we used to listen to it in the car and on like a CD player and stuff like that. And those were the best, because you could hear the whole story from start to finish.
Yeah,
You know, as opposed, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with releasing singles, but I feel like we don't want to do stuff just because it's the done thing right now.
No, 100%.
You know, I feel like if you have more to say, you shouldn't limit yourself.
I also think very importantly, we definitely, over and above writing another album, this one, we want to take it live to people, right? So right now the goal is obviously to
Find a bassist.
yes, find a bassist, take it live.
I saw your Instagram reel where you're literally demonstrating how shit you are at bass. Therefore, you're trying really hard. Are you actually looking for a bassist?
No. I think I can write the parts myself, but to pull it off live, I will probably need someone.
Yeah.
So, but I do, both of us, I mean, we want to take the whole sort of album live. We want people to see the music video. I also feel like other than just the musicality of, you know, being live and performing and the energy and this, that and the other, I feel like the general theme is something that is important. It's something that needs to be said,
Yeah.
you know, just for discussions to be had.
And you know, the interesting thing is, in this album, I know that there's a lot of scope for people to misunderstand us. Especially
Really?
with the music video. I feel like, I remember my...
You're mocking therapy and something?
No, but that's the thing, we're not mocking
I
therapy.
didn't think you guys were either.
But
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
very
like there
good
is scope where people might misunderstand where we're coming from. Like, for example, when we tell people the title of the album, they think it's a sad album. But it's not. You know, I don't
not
think
at all.
it's ever coming from a place of making fun of something.
I mean, there are a couple of soft boy songs in there, but like,
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
For
We
good
will-
measure. Yeah. But I feel like when people hear the whole album, when people see us live, if they get to know us in any capacity, they'll realize where we come from.
yeah.
You know, for example, now if people just watch the music video and they don't know anything about us, what we're trying to
Consider it
do, or
all,
anything about the album, they could misunderstand us. And we've kind of factored that in. We know that there is scope for that. And that's also part of the reason why the music video is as crazy as it is. Because we knew that the only way the right message goes through is if it's completely over the top, if it's ridiculous. We're actually saying that try to understand yourself beyond that. You know, who are you when you try to fix it? Are you trying to fix it? You know, is there anything on your end that you feel maybe you're misunderstood? Maybe you're not clear on how to express yourself. So I feel like the most important thing for us now is that we want people to hear the whole album. We want them to watch the music video. They want to see us live so that they understand the whole picture.
Send Cyril on tour. Yay!
It shall happen.
So, what's the last song you guys are going to play for me today?
I got you.
Nice. So, is this also still, because I remember that these first few songs that you guys had released before, they were all in that vein of like experiencing love. And
Yeah.
so I think I've Got You is also in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sort
Same
of builds
vein.
from twice
It's,
over.
yeah, we
Yeah.
consider it like a 2-part where it's twice over, goes into I Got You, you know? I feel like that's the trajectory of that feeling where the giddy feeling becomes a little more solid. You know, you've had a fight, you've had arguments,
Yeah.
you've had disagreements, but you're like, I got you. I'm still here. I get it. I understand. So I feel like it's that trajectory of giddy love that becomes mature.
Nice. That's a really nice way to describe that. So,
Couldn't have
last
said it better
song,
myself. Telepathic.
last song for the set, I've Got You.
Sometimes I swallow my words whole. Start sprinting when I'm on a stroll. I'm told it's me. Sometimes I screech right to a halt. Sprinkle my meal all over salt. Whose fault can it be? All's been wrong for east is to the west. It's topsy-turvy like the rest of you and me. All's been wrong for far too long. It's you that got me here. I think I feel insane. I love the change. I got you. I wish I knew this game, 'cause love is strange. I got you. I know forever is a sea of shame. Yes, to tame us. I'll go wherever we can be the same. Yes, nameless. I think I feel insane. I love the change. I got you. I wish I knew this game, 'cause love is strange. I got you.
Please like, share, and subscribe. That's me trying to be normal.
That's really creepy. Never.
Never again. That's what I'm saying. Should be me.
Sure.